everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you to welcome to another Self-Directed IRA Tuesday webinar. We're excited to have you here. My name is Andrea Chassin, and I'm an IRA specialist here at Quest. We have a great presentation today. We have Jonathan Tongs from Provision Space, and we're really excited about his presentation and all the information he's going to share with us. Before we go ahead and bring him up, I want to go over a couple of things with you all. First of all, our disclaimer, of course, Quest Trust Company does not provide tax, legal, investment, or structuring advice or endorse any products, services, or investments of any type. So all information and material shared here with you today is for educational purposes only, and all parties are encouraged to consult with attorneys, accountants, and financial advisors before entering into any investments, okay? We also want to share this QR code. If you guys want to set up a consultation with an IRA specialist here, either myself or any other IRA specialist here at Quest, go ahead and scan this QR code for your complement and schedule your complimentary consultation, either right now or whenever you, during the presentation or whenever you're ready to talk to us. We also want to share the double rewards promotion that we have running until the end of this month. So make sure you take advantage of this. Basically, if you refer someone, you both get a credit of $50 towards your account. So it's a really good promotion. And again, this is until the end of this month. So make sure you take advantage of this. If you have any friends or anybody you know they're just right there and are about to invest with a self-directed IRA, they can make use of this promotion, okay? We also are featuring our Gold Family experience. We have an amazing Gold Family department, and basically what you'll get with this is you can have multiple accounts for the same price. You can, including immediate family. You'll have something we call the concierge service. You'll have with help and handheld holding throughout the process, and a contact directly to help you with anything that you need. And so, yeah, it's just a really good experience if you're looking for that one-on-one and someone to be there with you and for all your needs. So make sure to check this out as it's being featured right now with us. And then last but not least, we have our Quest Expo coming up in June 27th to 29th of 2024. So we're a little bit, we still have a few months ahead, but time goes by really fast. So we want to bring this to everyone's attention so you can stay up to date. You can check out and buy your tickets whenever they come out. So it's going to be one of our biggest expos so far. So we're really excited about this as well. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Without further ado, I'd like to bring Jonathan up so we can start with his presentation. Hi, Jonathan.
Hey, Andrea, how are you? Yep, happy to be here.
Great. Yes, go ahead whenever you're ready. I can hear you.
Awesome. Well, I'd love to start out for everyone who's here on the chat. Thank you so much for being here. I'd love to hear and just see what is your name and where you're from. If you can do that for me, type in the chat your name and where you're coming in from. Love to get participation coming in. Maybe we'll get some coming in soon, but oh, here we go. We got Dallas. Awesome. Aaron coming in from Dallas. Thanks, Aaron. Love seeing that. I personally coming in from Michigan. So we got a little bit spread across the country. Awesome. Great. Well, as people are coming in, we're going to go ahead and get started. So without further ado, our topic of discussion today is a new perspective on stewardship. And being a business community, we're going to be talking about how do we apply that into a self-directed IRA. And I'm really excited to share this with you because I think it's an important topic. And there's two reasons why. First, I don't believe this is talked about enough. And I think it's evident in the fact that being a good steward and having the perspective of someone who's investing for global impact is not a common theme. It's not the norm. So it hasn't been talked about enough, but when we talk about wise application of money management and using the resources that we've been given and blessed with to the maximum potential, I think that's an area and opens up a conversation and a capacity to dream a little bit bigger, a capacity to potentially change and influence the world and even our sphere of influence in a way that's going to be promotional for the betterment of society. So I want to encourage you, if you're like me and you've had a dream that you've maybe put up on the shelf and it's been up there for a while, you don't know when you're going to get back to it, you just know that it's there. I encourage you, maybe today we're going to talk about some things and open up some conversations and some questions that are going to encourage you to take them down. Maybe take it down, dust off those dreams a little bit and see if there's a way that we can implement that back into your investment strategy, potentially through your self-directed IRA. So that's the first reason why it's important to talk about this today. Second is, I think we can all agree that we wouldn't get any pushback from someone who says, I have a desire to do more good for the world. I think we can all have some unity around that and agree on that, can't we? Someone who wants to create a thriving business and help their community, I think that's all a good thing. So earlier this year, I was in Dallas at a conference. It was a pitch competition. And the purpose of the event was there's 7 companies who were looking for seed investment, Series A, different level of equity into their companies, into their startups. And one of the hosts, one of the groups that was helping to organize the event was a large venture capital firm based out of Dallas. They're managing multiple billions in assets under management. All 4 of their managing partners had multiple exits in their own companies and their own startups. They've invested in 100+ startups since they started their company. Just a really well-rounded and excellent group of individuals. But one of them had a chance to speak, and he talked a lot about a separate business within their fund that I thought was quite interesting. It was a foundation that they'd started because all of them were very passionate about this concept called human flourishing. It was essentially they were committing capital and investing in organizations that were helping companies and helping regions eliminate and identify and get rid of sex trafficking and poor work environments. And they created an entire business fund around this. And it was shocking to me because being in that community, it wasn't surprising to see people do things outside of the norm, but it was impressive to me and inspiring to me to hear a company so moved by an event that they created an entire fund around it. So I pulled one of them aside and I said, hey, love your presentation. I just want to understand the heartbeat behind you guys starting this foundation. What was the draw there? What was the reason there? And he said something I'll never forget. He said, Jonathan, life is too short to invest in anything outside of the kingdom. Life is too short to invest in anything less than doing the most possible good that you can do. So I hope today we're going to encourage you and inspire you to think a little bit differently. We're going to talk about how to do that. We're going to talk about how to have that impact through your investments, through your IRAs that can be potentially global in their footprint. So we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to have some energy here. So if you're with me, I'd love to hear if you're with me. Go ahead and text that in the chat. But let me ask you this, or let me tell you this before we get started. We're going to talk about a few different things here. And I touched on a couple of them, but we're going to talk about how to find companies that have a larger vision. And we're going to talk about the thought process and why is it a good idea as an investor to participate in a company that's got a vision beyond themselves. I think there's many people can guess why it's a good idea, but we're going to talk about that in depth. We're also going to talk about how business and philanthropy can coexist. I'm not immune to this fact that I had a faulty business thought process when I was early starting my business. I'm thinking that sole purpose of business is to make money, right? And then once you can accumulate and make a certain amount of money, then you can be generous, you can be philanthropic, and you can help the community at large. We're going to talk about how that's a faulty thought process and why they can actually coexist for the betterment. It's actually better to do that earlier on in the business journey. You don't have to wait to make an impact. That's what we're trying to talk about here. And thirdly, we're going to see how strategic partnerships can help multiply that impact. If you're not going to be the person on the ground, specifically finding the areas where you want to make an impact, we're going to talk about how you can partner with the right people to make that happen. Right? There's plenty of options out there, and we're going to talk about how to make that a reality. So who's been sold on this dream before? Let me know if this looks familiar. Anyone hear this or see this on social media? I invest so that I can have blank. Most of it is time freedom, or most of it is I want to be able to do what I want with whoever I want, whenever I want. Does this sound familiar to anybody? I personally see this all across my feed, everywhere I go. And not to say this is a bad aspiration. I don't think it's got malintent. I think everyone desires to have a level of control. But let's take this a little step further. When does just investing for my freedom and the desire for accumulation end? And when does real living begin? And what do I mean by real living? Well, I would define it as it's a life that you don't need a break from. It's where you're able to help benefit your family, benefit your community. You're able to enjoy it, and you're able to do it for a sustainable and long period of time. When does that type of life begin? And have you ever met anyone who's retired who they stop working their W-2, they finally retire after years of service, and they can't stop working. They can't stop tweaking and finding things to do and working on little projects here and there. So I think there's a natural reason why that's the case, right? We're called to create, we're called to do great things, and business is one of those vehicles where we can do exceptional things at a mass scale. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Like, hold on, Jonathan, I see your image on the screen. You're a young man. Who is this gentleman telling me how to invest my money? Or maybe you came in here and you said, look, I just want to learn how to grow and protect my portfolio. I've got a retirement going. I like what it's doing, but I just want to learn how to maximize what I've got. Or maybe you came in here and you're hearing some of the words that I'm saying, or maybe you looked me up on LinkedIn beforehand and you said, look, Jonathan, I know you're a man of faith, but I don't have those same beliefs. I don't want to be preached at today. And I would say those are all very, very valid common questions that you might be having. But what I want to tell you here today is I'm not here to pitch you a deal. I'm not here to promote my company. All I want to do today, my goal, if you take away anything today, is I want to encourage you to think a little bit differently. I want to encourage you to ask deeper questions. And more importantly, I want to encourage you to never miss an opportunity to do good. All of what I'm sharing with you today is only possible because of the people that have been in my life that have exposed and caused awareness in an area of impact investing that I didn't know existed before. I'm only here because I'm standing on the shoulders of the people before me. You know, the people who inspired me to be more of a beacon of light than just consumption, the people who have shown me what it means to truly steward what I have to the best of my abilities. And thankfully, that journey has so far taken me down paths of partnering with great organizations through the act of business. So I hope this is getting you thinking, and I hope you start to realize that we cannot take action without awareness, and we can't have awareness without exposure. So today is all about exposing what is possible and what people are already doing around the world and what you can be part of today as well. Let's keep this real practical for a minute as well, though. We're talking about IRAs, self-directed IRAs. So a little snapshot for you for where we're currently at in this market. The retirement market is massive. I don't think this is a secret to anybody. In 2023, this number is constantly changing, but there's currently $14 trillion in assets within individual retirement accounts. Now, this doesn't include your 401k. This doesn't include your employer packages that they're providing. That is additional on top. This is purely American households that own an individual retirement account, 14 trillion in assets. So that's about 60 million households who have an account. But of all of those assets under management, there's about 4% of that is within a self-directed IRA classification. Now, why is this important to talk about? Self-directed is one of the most flexible solutions that you can have within a retirement. Within that tax advantage system of a retirement plan, self-directed allows you to have other solutions. So this is pulled right from Quest Trust's website, but you can find this at any custodian. Here's some of the capabilities that you can do with your self-directed IRA. And those who have one know that this isn't anything new. You can invest in real estate. You can invest in private companies, private entities, oil and gas, crypto. All these options are available to you. This isn't a comprehensive list, but there are limits to what you can do. But these are some of the solutions that you can use your self-directed IRA for specifically. And I hope this gets you curious, because whether it's venture, real estate, private equity, all within this tax advantage system, this should help us think about, are we truly maximizing our program? Are we truly maximizing our accounts? Because these are all accessible to us. So any visual learners out there, I'm curious if anyone is a kinesthetic learner like myself. Let's look at something. This is, I'll confess, when I was a child, I wanted to be just like my dad. And I don't think that's a bad thing at all. He was my hero, and he just taught me how to work hard. So I thought what it meant to make a life or make a living was you just work, work, work. You save as much as you can to some proverbial point in time when you think that you can give a lot away or make a big impact on your community, whether that's financially or time investment. And then inherently, because you spent all your savings on giving, you slowly retire and you kind of live off of what you've got left. But I think there's a lot smarter people on this call. There's different options. You can invest for different streams of income, right? And I think very few of us can get to a point where we truly just have the mentality of making a living to the point where we have an impact sustainably for the remainder of our life. I think very few people get there. It's a worthy endeavor, but very few. The Philanthropic Roundtable company, they produced an article earlier this year that says the peak giving years in Americans' lives is ages 61 to 75. Ages 61 to 75. But coincidentally, Harvard posted an article this year as well that says the average life expectancy has actually declined to 76.4 years old. So peak giving 61 to 75, and then you got about a year and a half later for your life expectancy to kick in. I hope I'm not the only one who realizes that this is kind of flawed system. Right? I just hope and pray that you don't die with your good ideas still in you. That'd be my encouragement today. I don't think we can consider it giving when you're gone. But what if our story looked a little bit different? What if instead of just accumulating to survive, to potentially make an impact one day, what if instead of making a living, we decided that we wanted to build a life? And we were able to teach people, young people, whatever age, the age doesn't really matter. But what if we were able to teach people that you work, you survive, you find opportunities and partnerships as you make investments that are able to make an impact, able to impact your community at large or the world. And you're able to do that in a way that's compounding on top of each other, impact on top of impact, while also seeking that return on investment. You're receiving a return on your impact to the hopes that one day that can be sustainable and you can be reinvesting those dividends back into great companies and great organizations that are doing wonderful things in the world. I hope that's an opportunity for you to look at and to see that it's an opportunity and partnerships are available for that. So let's see an example. Are you still with me? Let's see two examples. One is going to be a direct opportunity and indirect. So I mentioned at the beginning of this, that company that was the pitch competition. One of the companies of the 7 that pitched was this company called Dateable. This was a direct investment opportunity that they presented. And it was a missionary couple, young couple, that are living at the southern end of Tunisia, which is at northern Africa, or in the middle of northern Africa. They were on mission in Tunisia and found an opportunity to start a manufacturing company that processed the sugar in dates. There was a high concentration of sugar within them. And they knew that with their relationships back home in America, that they could expand this manufacturing to the United States, to Canada, to Europe. But the real reason why they wanted to start this company was as they were doing missions in Tunisia, they saw that there's a massive amount of instability throughout the region due to unemployment and poor working conditions of the people of Tunisia. So they used business as the vehicle to solve this problem. They said, we're going to start a manufacturing company to process sugar, and we're going to sell that back home and overseas. But what we're going to do is we're going to pay our employees of Tunisia 30% more than the average income, plus benefits, and we're going to have sustainable sources of energy when we're drying out the dates and processing the sugar. So they had a mission for the company that says, we're going to protect these people, and we're going to take really good care of them. Meanwhile, we're also going to provide a really good return on investment to our investors who are supporting our mission and supporting this business. And the thing I want to make note of here is that was a direct investment opportunity, a private entity that you could invest in with your self-directed IRA. This is an example of a direct investment that could be made with an IRA. How about an indirect example? I was fortunate enough to have the opportunity to partner with develop a real estate syndicator in the Midwest. I met him a couple years ago, met him and his team a couple years ago, was reviewing some of this deal flow, some of the opportunities that they were doing, really liked what was going on in the Midwest. And I said, hey, I'd love to be a partner, raise some capital, and partner on this asset with you guys. And they said, great, Jonathan, we'd love to have you on. There's something you need to know, though, before we proceed. I said, yeah, what's that? They said, we feel very strongly about supporting the purification and accessibility to clean drinking water to people all over the world. We found an organization that we've already partnered with and can only do that with. It's called Charity Water. But if you're going to partner with us, you need to know that we structure our deals so that we can give a portion of our profits to an organization like Charity Water. That was an indirect opportunity through me that I could partner with someone like them to make that impact. And since that time, they've been able to dig 5 different wells, access to 450 different people in various parts of Africa. And it's been just a beautiful transaction, a beautiful relationship. Again, opportunities indirectly through investments of various kinds, but also through self-directed if possible. So how do you find them? I think that's a big question that everyone's wondering. How on earth do we find them? If we don't hear about them enough, where do we go? So here's some practical steps. And there's an easy answer and there's a not so easy answer. Easy answer is you got to find them. Because it's not marketed as well as it should be, it's in its developing stages. We've got to go to places where we can locate and meet with operators who have this business mindset, who have this mission-based mindset. One of the places you can go is BAM, Business as Missions. I encourage you, they've got webinars, they've got conferences, and they've got plenty of articles and connections. You'll probably get routed to different organizations like faith-based or faith-driven investors, faith-driven entrepreneurs who are creating marketplaces to connect business-minded investors and business-minded, missions-minded businessmen and women. So you'll find some of those there, but I'm going to encourage you to research and investigate because they're out there, but it's not easy to find. The other way that you can find them is to ask around your network, connect with people like myself, because the beauty of it is when you find operators and business owners and people who are passionate about this, they will generally know other people in other industries and who care about different missions and different progress and different professionals who have expertise in different locations. So ask around your network. You'd be surprised to understand how many people truly care about impacting their community and impacting the world. You just got to look for them. And then thirdly, something I didn't touch on the last slide, but when you're discerning these opportunities, we need to understand that first and foremost, there's a fiduciary responsibility to the investors. This is not a donation when we're looking at these opportunities. This is an investment. So we have to understand that we need to be discerning and make sure that these opportunities make financial sense, but also need to ask the hard questions and the deep questions on how do we track and make sure that our dollars are actually going to these organizations if you say that's where it's going to go. So we need to be able to have that perspective from a financial and generosity perspective as you go forward and as you're connecting and meeting these other organizations. So if I can have a challenge for anyone listening, I think there's 3 different types of people who've been on this call, and I thank you so much for being here again. 3 different types of people I think who are listening. 1, existing Quest Trust users, existing custodian IRA users. I challenge you, can you articulate what your passions are? And can you do it in a way where you can articulate it where your passions can align with your wealth and be symbiotic with where your investments are going? Do those align? Do you know what they are? And can you repeat it? Secondly, I think there's people who are new to self-directed IRAs here. I know this is not the presentation for all the benefits and all the great things for your self-directed IRAs, but I encourage you to get connected, meet people like myself, meet people like your custodian, ask around, because the beauty for you is that you're at the very beginning. Like we looked at those charts, you're at the beginning where you can start your investment journey with the mentality that I'm going to invest for impact, and I'm going to have that trajectory that's going to essentially be sustaining down the road while I'm helping communities and industries all around the world. So you're in a beautiful position. So I encourage you to get connected. And thirdly, big challenge. Any owner operators who are on the call, if you're running deals yourself, if you're in a position where you're the decision maker, you're doing real estate transactions, you own the company, you're the founder, whatever it is, I challenge you to be bold enough and courageous enough to state what you actually stand for And not that this has to be fully fleshed out today, but if there's something you're passionate about, bring that into your business. People want to rally behind you. People want to know that they can be giving outside of just a monetary transaction. Be willing to step out and have that opportunity for people. But then also, if you're not going to be the person to directly have an opportunity, maybe you can have an indirect opportunity. Maybe you can partner with someone who's got other options. Like myself, I can connect you with plenty of people throughout my network who I know can find something that is in alignment with what you want. So I'd encourage those 3 challenges to anyone listening today. I want you to be the bridge. Can you be the bridge between your passions and your wealth? Can you be the bridge and the type of leader who connects impact with business? And can we do that within a self-directed IRA policy? I believe we can. And I believe you're the right person to do. I just hope and pray that when you climb the ladder to success, when you get to the top, I just hope that you're not leaning up against the wrong wall. So thank you so much for your time today. Feel free to connect with me. That's my calendar. That QR code is my calendar. I'd love to jump on a call with you. If you have a specific investment opportunity or a specific impact that you want to make, I'd love to chat about that with you and connect you with the right people. If you're just learning about this and want to learn how my company does it, I'd be happy to share that with you as well. But I think the important thing here, going back to the challenges, make sure you get connected with someone. Make sure you start asking these questions and reflect on it today or this weekend. Where are areas that I'm just investing for financial return, and where can I take that to the next level? Because they are out there and they're accessible to all of us. And I want you to keep thinking about that this week. So thank you so much for listening. I'm going to pass back to Andrea, but if there's any questions, I'd love to go to the chat.
Yes, thank you very much, Jonathan. That was amazing and inspiring, an inspiring presentation for sure. If anybody has any questions now for Jonathan, now's the time to post them on the chat. If you can't think of anything right now but want to reach out to him afterwards, here's how you can get a hold of him. I think this is really cool, Jonathan, because this is what we're here for, and this is one of the benefits actually that we like to highlight whenever we're presenting to new clients or people who are interested in self-directed IRAs. And social investing is really big, and it's a big one that you wouldn't really be able to do, with a typical custodian that only allows you to invest in the stock market. So thank you for this. It's been wonderful. I don't see any questions come in so far. So I think we'll give some time back to everybody here. But thank you again, Jonathan, for joining us. And maybe hopefully you can join us in the future as well.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Awesome. Have a good afternoon, everybody.